The Game Grumps is a Let's Play channel.
Hey, I'm Grump. I'm not so Grump. And we're the Game Grumps.
One that has been active for more than a decade. Its co-founder, Aaron Hansen, has been an online content creator for more than 2 decades. This means his online footprint is older than YouTube's, but not older than Newgrounds, the website where he got his big break through animation, but also the hatred that came with it.
I was tremendously and horribly bullied, and it was encouraged.
This animosity would remain a constant in Aaron's and the Game Grumps story. The other half of the Let's Play channel was John Jafari, known online as John Tron.
Oh, Jesus! This is John Tron! Hey!
What started as a somewhat unserious venture exploded in popularity, and then a conflict.
I'm not really going anywhere, though. Just shifting focus. So, I don't know. Thanks.
Game Grumps will continue without John, but we wish him well.
As John Tron left Game Grumps so unceremoniously and abruptly, only theories could fill the lack of a satisfactory explanation. There are a few videos exploring this topic in depth, and a subreddit that continuously discusses it. That also stands as a community distrustful of Aaron Hansen, a community that is kept alive through the many controversies the Game Grumps have been involved in. This intensity of interest goes both ways.
The people that watch Game Grumps fucking suck.
A typical Let's Play channel is innocuous in nature, but the Game Grumps are not a typical Let's Play channel. As such, this video will attempt to understand what sets them apart, why there is so much contempt for them, and how much of it truly is Aaron Hansen. In the late 90s, animation, even in its simplest form, was no easy feat. In the grander scale, movies could take thousands of hours over several years to hand draw. But with improving technology, CGI, computer-generated imagery, was becoming a feasible alternative. What was once only used selectively in films, or even for experimental music videos, can now be used for feature-length films. This process was still expensive, partly due to its experimental nature. From the software needed to the specialists hired, innovation was not cheap. And once everything was in place, the work was hardly easy. Models had to be created in a 3D space, from barely perceptible items in the background to characters seen throughout the film. And then comes the lighting, textures, and other necessities that require consistency and collaboration, meaning that while this form of animation required less manpower per se, in its current state, as was true with the rest of the industry, there was little one person could do besides be inspired. And for young Aaron Hansen, that came in the form of a cereal box. Inside that box was a flip book of Toy Story and a bit of inspiration.
I feel like I had experienced flip books before, but for some reason that one really spoke to me, where I was just like, this is amazing that it looks like it's moving, but it's just pictures. Around the house we had one of those post-it note stacks, and I was like, this looks exactly I could just make my own flip books with this. And so I started doing that.
These post-it note flipbooks were only the beginning, with Aaron understanding the fundamentals of animation in that it is the illusion of frame-by-frame movement. He found other ways to animate.
And then there was an episode of Muppet Babies where they got Nanny's camera and it had a button that would take one frame.
I actually remember that episode of Muppet Babies.
With this camera, Aaron would make claymations by rigorously starting and stopping the camera, making sure to capture as little frames as possible. These small projects would remain at most in circulation within Aaron's family, but as technology was pushing animation forward, the internet and its evolution, its constant improvement allowed for file sharing beyond images. Napster was a peer-to-peer file-sharing service, one infamously known for allowing users to share music, foregoing any payment. In other words, piracy. But that's only if you're looking for music. Maybe you're looking for this.
The one thing that really left a mark on me was, I don't remember who made it or where it's from, but it was Star Wars in 30 seconds. So it was just Star Wars, doo-doo-doo, clean the droid, I gotta save Leia, blah, blah, blah.
Now, we will show you who is the most powerful. Oh yeah, we're the most powerful, because we are very strong. Oh yeah, well, we're very strong too, ha ha. Isn't that right, Frieza? Yeah, we're very strong, ha, we're very strong, ha. Yeah, you can't defeat us because we're strong and our power levels are above 1 million.
The latter clip's audio was recorded by 13-year-old Aaron Hansen parodying Dragon Ball Z. Using software to speed up the track, he uploaded this onto Napster as Egoraptor and Company. The origin of the username was a misspelling of the Eoraptor, a dinosaur Aaron learned about through his interest in Jurassic Park. As for his parody, it was not always credited to him.
I was like, I wonder if people have downloaded it. And so I searched it, and I got 100 results. And I was like, whoa, holy crap, dude. People have this now. And they heard it. This is amazing.
Here, he got his first lesson in search engine optimization, as he found out that someone had renamed the audio to Invader Zim Does DBZ, that was substantially more popular due to its searchability. A more shocking fact was that this was not even its final form. There was finally a program that allowed animation to be relatively easy. This program was widespread, and to Tom Fulp, the creator of Newgrounds, quote, "Flash was the creative tool I had always been dreaming of," unquote. Flash was vector-based. A simple explanation is that it utilized shapes rather than a bitmap. This means one could do something like enlarge these shapes without losing their quality, and one could move individual shapes frame by frame to create animation. This created a less time-consuming way to animate and allowed for easier file sharing as the Flash files were smaller in size. This confluence of ease of access combined with an internet to support it was not absent of Aaron Hansen.
Now, we will show you who is the most powerful. Oh yeah, we're the most powerful, because we are very strong. Oh yeah, well, we're very strong too.
That was not Aaron's animation, but it was his audio.
There's a website called newgrounds.com where you could like upload Flash cartoons, and Dragon Ball Z in a nutshell was like #1 on the Newgrounds portal for a while. Somebody had taken the audio and then made a cartoon out of it.
Aaron then reached out to ChannelCat, the person who animated his audio. At first, ChannelCat, fearing that Aaron was displeased at the use of his audio, told Aaron he was going to take it down. But after Aaron clarified that he was impressed with ChannelCat's work, asked ChannelCat if he would animate a second cartoon. Reluctant at first, after listening to Aaron's recording, a second DBZ in a nutshell, nearly 2 years after the first one aired, found its way to Newgrounds. Though Aaron did have an interest in animation, his passion lied in voice acting, as more and more people were reaching out to him for roles in their works. But not everything was going well for Aaron. Unbeknownst to him and his parents, he was redistricted to a less favorable high school, a discovery that had his parents drop him out of school.
I didn't even finish high school.
No shit.
Yeah.
You're a high school dropout?
Yeah.
Even so, he still worked a job, but continued to pursue his passion of voice acting and a future with his at-the-time girlfriend, Susie Burhow, a girl he met at a convention in their home state of Florida. Though they lived in separate towns, they remained in constant communication and would see each other for at least 1 week a month. The couple shared the dream of moving to California, one that did not seem so far off now that Aaron was trying his hand at his own animations.
I hate this suit.
Hey, what's up, Snake?
Can I take off this suit?
Yeah, whatever, but it's pretty fucking cool.
Hello, Solid Snake.
Oh my god, hotness, I want to bang you.
Oh, I can't believe I'm being hit on by the famous Solid Snake.
Okay, shut up.
That was Metal Gear Awesome, uploaded on February 23, 2006. It currently stands at 7.5 million views. Aaron was initially insecure with his work that relied on the traditional frame-by-frame drawings, and so was surprised at Metal Gear Awesome becoming a hit.
Right out the gate, it was huge. The creator of the website, his name's Tom Fulp. He like put it right on the front page, like #1.
Wow.
And like he went on Attack of the Show on G4 and like specifically talked about it's like nobody's making cartoons like this on the platform.
Tom Fulp was hardly the only one impressed with Aaron's work. MTV reached out to Aaron and asked if he would make short animations for them, which he eagerly agreed to at a rate of approximately $300 a cartoon.
Sweet health, yeah!
Aaron was being paid for his work with a few caveats. These did not air on the television channel MTV, and only existed in MTV's web show known as The G-Hole. And as Aaron was told by the MTV producer he was working with, he almost wasn't paid.
He was like, look, I gotta be honest with you, like, my boss didn't want to pay anybody. Didn't want to pay you, didn't want to pay any, like, contractors or anything that we got. It was me that fought for it because I knew you guys wouldn't, you know, like, you need it. This is work, you know? And it was like, this is the budget that I could get.
There were about 18 of these shorts made for MTV, and like this contract with them, not all was stable.
I was a top creator. Like, literally by the ranking of Newgrounds, I was #1 for like over a year on the website in terms of like being a creator. I think it's like likes. You can like a creator or something.
Yeah.
But like, I was tremendously and horribly bullied on that website, and it was encouraged by the culture of the website.
Yeah.
You know, like people would make collaboration cartoons that would take months and there was like immense talent behind it and effort just to shit on one person, you know?
Yeah.
At minimum, Aaron was still with Susie, who he made an animation for.
This is my Susie. As you can see, she's the most beautiful girl on planet Earth. Well, you are. You see, unlike most girls, Susie is smart and cute and funny and adorable. I think that Susie is definitely the one for me. She is definitely someone I can see myself being with forever because she is my love, and I love Susie Burhow.
Aaron moved to California without Susie and continued to post on Newgrounds by expanding his awesome series.
I remember one day Aaron was just like, we should move to California. Like, that's where all of our friends are. And like, Aaron wanted to be a voice actor at the time.
Right.
And we were like, well, that's where all the voice acting happens. And I was into modeling, and I was like, well, I'll get more modeling work for there. So we were both selling all of our worldly belongings to move to California. And then the breakup happened.
Oh, shit. That's when that happened?
Yeah. Dick move, Aaron.
Come on, teenage Aaron.
Yeah. I'm not mad about it.
No way.
Aaron would also parody movies and continue collaborating with other animators, as was highly popular on Newgrounds. These videos were sponsored by Newgrounds, but not with life-changing money. Some of his animations could be found on YouTube, but not through the Egoraptor channel that was established in 2006. Instead, these re-uploads of significantly lower quality, often due to the capturing method, but also due to the compression algorithm, which was why Aaron was so opposed to uploading them on the website.
Metal Gear Awesome isn't on YouTube. None of the awesome cartoons are. They were meant to be seen on Newgrounds.com. Click that link on the right to go watch them how they were meant to be seen. Crystal clear without all this fuzzy compression bullshit.
That video was uploaded March 30th, 2008, and it was only 3 months later that Aaron uploaded his first awesome animation onto the platform as to compete with his animations that were already being uploaded regardless of how he felt about YouTube. But in reality, it was only a single video of the series that would sit on his channel. It was not until 2010 that he began uploading his animations onto his YouTube channel, going as far as to remake some.
I partnered with a company called Machinima, which isn't around anymore. It was very simplistic back then. It was like, if you get 1,000 views on this video, you will make $2. You know, like right. Very. Boom. That's just how it is.
His partnership with Machinima, in tandem with his re-uploads, assured Aaron his first big break. It helped that YouTube videos could be uploaded at the same quality to those of Newgrounds.
I had my first big hit on there, which was Awesome Reach. I think I uploaded it to Newgrounds as well, but it was kind of made for YouTube. That was the most money I'd ever seen in my life.
It was at this point that making videos for the internet became Aaron's full-time job.
I remember riding a $10 knockoff Razor scooter to a local car dealership, and I bought my first car cash just because I had the money to do that finally.
At the start of 2010, the Egoraptor channel had 28,000 subscribers. By the end of 2011, that number had inflated to just over 400,000. It was around this time that Aaron was back with Susie, after writing her a letter every day for a year to win her back. As for his channel, some of his other notable series at this time were Lemon and Bill, rough sketchings of a bullet and lemon that would exist in a single area of a retro game, using only rudimentary whole-body movements to represent who was speaking. Then there was Girl Chan in Paradise, a video series that satirizes anime tropes, whether they be part of the story of the anime or infamous moments in anime due to things like localization.
These donuts are great! Jelly-filled are my favorite!
Pass the flapjacks, Kodabaru-san sama! Don't forget the syrup! How could I?
Aaron was well known for his parodies, but his talents were hardly ever limited, from voice acting to animation to a genre of fast-paced comedy that he dominates in.
All the way on the 78th floor! No match for me! Yeah!
He has proven himself to be capable. Through these means, Aaron's personality comes off in his videos, though he hardly ever addresses his audience directly. That was until Sequelitis, a series that is critical of game sequels, often criticizing game design choices.
These kinds of things are meant to elongate a game. They're made to manipulate you into thinking you're achieving something more than you're actually achieving.
What? Huh? What?
Other times, entirely positive.
See, this is a sequel. This is a fucking sequel. You thought I was going to talk about bad sequels all the time on Sequelitis? Fuck no.
The series highlights the changes made from game to game, and breaks down both the thought process of the choices and players' actual experience. In a space full of those seeking to replicate what is successful, like the countless clones of the angry video game nerd, Aaron was carving his own path, adding this unique spin on game examination in combination with his trademark animation.
or Mega Man 12, was this Land Before Time? Capcom was like, fuck.
Even with all this hard work and continual growth, there was a genre that was always present on YouTube, but in the early 2010s was taking over the platform by force.
How's it going, bros? My name is PewDiePie!
The Let's Play had been unleashed in full force on YouTube. Once restricted by litigious game studios in opposition to having their games showcased for free and a lack of monetary incentive, the genre of videos where one would provide commentary while playing a game was arguably the most popular form of video on YouTube. These were easy, cheap, and fast to produce. Viewers would hop from video to video, which increased both click-through rate on said video, increased watch time, and due to consistent uploads possible by the ease of creation, made it easier for viewers to form habits in watching daily uploads. To YouTube, this translated to one thing: more money. Whether it was by decision of the algorithm or YouTube themselves, these were being pushed away competing videos. Videos like animations that, unlike Let's Plays, were often less than 3 minutes long, took much longer to produce and created less habit-forming viewership, and were often not in a series format. For these reasons, animators like Aaron were not fans of the genre. Quote, "If I ever make a Let's Play, please kill me," unquote. This was tweeted on February 8, 2011, a time when Aaron was seemingly exhausted with his back catalog of animations, meaning if he persisted in animation with the same pace he had in the past, his growth would not have been as explosive as it once was. But Aaron does have a history of creative exploration and collaboration. Around 2010, Aaron contacted rising musician Dan Avidan of the band Ninja Sex Party, who he co-founded with Ninja Brian.
I had an idea to do like a video game parody song, and I was like, who better to collaborate with than them? So I reached out to them and I was like, hey, we should do this song together, and they were into it, and so we wrote this song and we went into a studio and recorded it, and that whole experience was completely new to me.
This video game parody song and the band that was a collaboration of Ninja Sex Party and Aaron Hansen was in the works but not public, and their association was not a secret. As in 2011, Aaron promoted one of Ninja Sex Party's songs in which he did animations for.
The reason I plug it is because Eagle Raptor did some animations, as you can probably see in that little thumbnail, and they're pretty good.
Aaron was openly reaching out to content creators whose work he appreciated, such as John Jafari, known as John Tron, whose reviews were being praised and as such celebrated on websites like Reddit.
It was number one on Reddit. I was getting like influx of subscribers. Like, got like 10,000 a day or something, right? Yeah. And I was just like, oh my god, because that was like really big to someone like in my position back then. Like that was huge. It was like doubling and more of my subscribers overnight. So I saw that it said Ego Raptor. It was like back on old YouTube when you could like see this easier. It was like on your page. I have it saved actually. It says it's. I was a big Ego Raptor fan, but what can I say? It said Ego Raptor has subscribed to John Tron Show. And I was like, ah!
It was then that John Tron messaged Ego Raptor. As it turned out, Ego Raptor had messaged John first, but John had failed to see the message.
See, you messaged me. Yeah, I messaged you. I didn't see it. I didn't see it until fucking like a year later when I was going back. And I was like, oh my god, you sent me a message? I just sent you a message independently of that. And then you got back and like, oh, I didn't think I was going to get a response from you. I had no idea what the fuck you were talking about, but you were referring to the message I didn't see. So, then we agreed to play Choo Choo Rocket, drink Dr. Pepper, and high five a lot. Yeah.
The pair would later live stream, which is where this 5-second clip of Aaron slapping John originated from. With Gerard, the completionist Khalil, sitting off on the side, it was moments like these that inspired the creation of the Game Grumps. The one that Aaron retells that inspired further collaboration was an argument while the pair played Super Smash Bros. Whether the character Wolf was a clone of a different character, Fox. The boisterous nature of the argument made Aaron realize that there was something there.
Hey, I'm Grump. I'm not so Grump. And we're the Game Grumps.
Hi, I'm Eagle Raptor. You might know me from... Have you ever wanted me to play games on your computer screen with somebody that you may all know? Oh, jeez! This is JonTron.
Hey, we gotta play games together on the channel called Game Grumps.
Click the link everywhere.
Go subscribe or else.
Game Grumps, as Aaron describes it, was a bit of a farce. It was a side project that Aaron did not see doing as well as it did.
It was truly a side project. It was like John would show up to my place. We would record like 7 episodes or something like that in the morning. And then for the rest of the day, he would edit the episodes. And then I would work on one of the cartoons.
With the pair dedicating only a day a week to this channel, the Game Grumps immediately became a hit, mostly because there was nothing like it. There were channels that approached Let's Plays as a group, and there were many Let's Play channels of a similar format, but the Game Grumps stood out, not only because they had their previously established audiences, but also because the pair inherently approached content creation in ways that were unique yet captivating. Where the Let's Play genre was leaning more towards horror or games that were newly released, John and Aaron instead played retro games. They were a comedy duo that leaned into absurdity because they already understood that it made great entertainment.
What is your take on Two Best Friends Play?
I haven't really watched it. Everyone compares it to everyone compares it.
Similar.
Yeah, and I saw like one episode and I was like, they're not really the same. And I just didn't.
They're not.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing but respect for the guys who do this, because honestly, I mean, I always say this, it's not hard work, but it's hard to be on all the time.
That was Aaron talking about his active commentary. This understanding of a continual conversation by actively finding ways to be engaging in conversation could make Let's Plays appear deceptively easy when the active challenge of continued engagement is not entirely obvious. This is best highlighted when even fumbles are made entertaining rather than something to cut out.
She throws you like a mushroom.
Yeah. She doesn't even throw it, it just comes out of the thing. As if she has a... Did you just reset it?
Excuse me? What? You can do that?
You?
Wait, what? No, seriously? How did that happen? There's some way on the fucking controller
Next time on Game Grumps, I'm gonna speedrun it.
Speedrun? Oh, let me give you a blowjob. Fuck. Oh, boy.
We're done. We didn't beat it.
Oh, Oktoberfest is coming early this year.
Where some may tune in to Let's Players for the sake of experiencing a newly released game, viewers tuned into the Game Grumps dependent on how the game made them react. John would typically burst out in laughter, making him the not-so-grump, where Aaron would react in anger as the grump.
Oh, okay! Well, that makes it okay then! Let's keep playing!
Which is why Sonic 06, a game infamously known for its lack of polish and thus frustrating nature, was a perfect game for the Grumps.
You have to like do... Okay. Aaron, don't leave. Aaron, don't... Aaron! I love you!
No, I'm fucking done! I'm fucking done!
No, you're not!
This is bullshit!
I'm gonna go...
This is fucking bullshit!
I can't get off!
What is this?
I can't get off!
What is this?
I'm stuck!
What is my life?
Sonic 06 is also where the name Lovelies, as a reference to Game Grumps fans, originated from.
We'd had this talk. I don't like it either, but what the fuck else are we gonna call them?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna call them Grumpettes or something.
Grumps, viewers, audience.
Yes.
Lovelies.
All of.
Our lovelies.
All of above.
Our lovelies. We should call them lovelies.
Dude.
Do you guys like being called lovelies?
I got a new lease on love.
The Game Grumps commentary and the Lovelies who followed it propelled the channel to heights Aaron's own animation channel could not reach. In just a month of uploads, the channel had nearly 200,000 subscribers, yet it took only a fraction of the work Aaron was used to. By April 2013, 10 months into the project, after hiring an editor, and during the Sonic 06 playthrough, the channel was at 945,000 subscribers, while the Egoraptor channel was at 988,000. The Game Grumps was an undeniable success, enough so that Aaron had changed his focus from the animations of Egoraptor to the Let's Plays of Game Grumps. But was it creatively fulfilling?
How much time do I really have to devote to putting so much fucking focus into this thing that's going to end up being a minute and a half? It was a realist approach. And I think for a while I was sort of ashamed of that, but I'm not anymore. Everybody's got to fucking pay rent and everybody wants to have a better life for themselves. So I'm fine with that decision.
For John, it did not seem like it was.
He had expressed a lot of interest in just like focusing on his solo stuff, because I think that's really what made him feel creatively fulfilled.
Yeah.
I don't know that he was particularly like fulfilled by doing Game Grumps. But there definitely was a sense of like, I don't know how long we can be doing this.
I felt like it was like really like trying to share my past experience with these games, but then it just got so like every day this is it, and it's like, okay,
it's a job rather than like
just like it's just like, okay, then you're just gonna exhaust this eventually.
On June 25th, 2013, Ode to John was uploaded to the Game Grumps channel announcing John's departure.
So all in all, I just want to say thank you all for the wonderful year that you've given me. I'm not really going anywhere though, just shifting focus. So I don't know, thanks, and your viewership will not go unappreciated.
I'm gonna miss him so much. Who on earth am I gonna be playing games with now?
You Piccadilly whore! What?
Those two clips were from the same video, though it does not appear it because of the difference in quality and approach to delivering the message, with John taking an impromptu approach to addressing the audience, and Egoraptor approaching it through a skit to introduce Dan Avidan as a new host of the Game Grumps. All fans had to go off of for this sudden separation was this 2-minute, 40-second long video where the reason provided is that John wanted to focus on his own channel. The suddenness of the separation, the disjointed nature of the video, and John's simple explanation was hardly satisfactory. What's more, Aaron, through John's desire to work on his own channel, kept ownership of the Grumps, and immediately had a replacement ready. This all made it seem like Aaron had more power in this situation and was possibly the orchestrator of his and John's separation. But was it really planned this way?
There was one night where Dan was over at my place and we were coming up with song titles for the album, and we were just like literally on the floor laughing. When we were naming the album, I had already started Game Grumps. So I had the thought where if something ever happens to John, like he gets sick or something, like this would be the guy I would ask to be my co-host on the show.
Wow.
And then, eventually John wanted to pursue other things, and I was like, well, now's the chance.
Following John's departure, there was an immediate sub-loss of around 10,000. There were many feelings about the Grumps during this time, few of them positive. There was a distrust towards Aaron and a hatred of Dan solely for replacing John. Some viewers wanted the channel to fail, which made this transition even harder.
Those were scary times, just because I felt like, if I blow this, all my friends are out of a job, and like all my friends' artistic careers will suffer because Game Grumps brings so much attention to the stuff that they do individually.
This was a highly stressful time, but as Aaron predicted, Dan was a good counter to him. Though he was not as boisterous as John, he was very easygoing and not a terrible conversationalist. It helped that he was open about his struggles.
So I guess I'll share my story, which I've never really told before in any kind of like public forum.
Dan goes on to talk about how he got really sick from mono and the mental toll it took.
Like, it was my first experience of like real like sadness like over a long period of time, and I guess it was depression. But then I noticed like even when I got physically healthier, I was still like really struggling like mentally with a lot of stuff.
Dan's upbeat attitude was so consistent that it could be perceived as disingenuous, but he really was that happy.
I'm just so happy now, like all the fucking time, because like I know what it's like to be sad.
It did not take long at all for the pair to fall into the rhythm of things, laughing at on-screen happenings.
2 cats? Why not 3? Jeez, what were they thinking?
Aaron getting mad at games.
Yes, just fall.
No! Oh my god! Are you fucking kidding me? What happened? What happened?
And telling stories.
I would give him a full-on like swordplay session. You know what I mean?
I've done that before.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you docked with Barry?
No, not with Barry.
Oh.
It was with another man.
Really? Like swordplay?
Yeah.
Just like fucking like knock your junk around together?
Yeah, it was funny. We had a club.
Okay.
Called the D Club.
Okay, now you're fucking...
Seriously, you can ask Susie.
The D Club?
So we were like, I have an idea. Let's create a club where we just show each other our tits.
This is not real.
I don't know. I don't remember what started it, but we just started fucking sword fighting, and it was like,
my god.
yeah, and we were like, haha, it's funny because it's like a cockfight. Go out right now.
I'm gonna do it.
Ask Susie if the D Club is real and what it was.
Okay. All right. Oh my god! Are you fucking serious?
Dan and Aaron had succeeded in keeping the Game Grumps alive, and a new commentator, Robert Ross, helped bring even more diversity into the mix through Steam Train, a series focused exclusively on playing games available on Steam.
We bought too many games!
Now we gotta play them all.
So what about the Steam Train? Choo choo!
Regardless, the dissatisfaction with John's departure was no longer just lingering. It was growing. On August 25th, 2013, this manifested into many subreddits critical of the Game Grumps, one of which was the Conspiracy Grumps subreddit. By the end of 2013, this subreddit hardly had over 100 followers. A little less than a year later, a subreddit that should have faded into obscurity now had 923 members. By the end of 2014, well over a year since John's departure, this subreddit had ballooned to 2,415 members. In November, there was a post pinpointing the fallout of Aaron and John to E3 2013, citing John's appearance, then lack of appearance, then silence from both parties, to then announcing one episode of Game Grumps a day until John's sudden departure. This does not provide any more of a satisfactory answer, but it did at minimum shrink the window of John and Aaron's falling out. As John stated in the post comments, quote, "Damn, you guys are good," unquote. The Conspiracy Grumps Reddit was a mix of serious posts and silly posts. One of the wilder theories is that John left because he punched Susie, Aaron's wife, who Aaron married in 2013. It does not appear that this joke conspiracy originated from the Conspiracy Grumps subreddit, but what is true is interest in a deeper reason why John left was high, enough so that these theories and their absurdity would reach large creators and John himself.
You know, what happened in the John Trent episode? Well, we recorded it. It was myself, John, Niall, and Corey.
Yeah.
And it was vile.
Well, you're going to talk about it. You're actually going to talk about it.
I'm just going to go into a
second. We might air it. I don't know.
Because I did read on conspiracycast.com that it was because JonTron punched Niall in the face.
Punched my girlfriend. Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
And that's why we never published that episode.
His girlfriend.
So we're going to talk about it.
Definitely going to become a thing now.
Thank God.
As for Susie, it seemed that she was becoming far more disliked than Aaron. There was this post by Susie explaining why she used the DMCA process to strike a video. This is the entirety of her footage in the 10-minute video she struck down.
And a lot of you wonder where I'm at right now. This is my guest room. The video from London Fashion Week, that's our actual bedroom, but this is our guest room. And I film in here because it's obviously quieter, and it's away from where everybody else in the house is filming when they film stuff.
The rest of the video is full of moments of John and Aaron being loud.
What?
Susie in her post claims she took the video down because it was monetized, and that the user did not ask for permission. She goes on to say, quote, "There are lots of videos online about me and the Grumps. Some don't put me in a positive light. Do I take those down? No. I took this one down because it was monetized. Was this a rash decision? Yes. Will I be doing it again? No." Unquote. Side note, the video uploader claims he never monetized the video and also states that Susie struck down another of his videos. As for Susie's post, she claims she apologized and stated that he could re-upload his videos if he wanted to. Then, in the comments, Susie posted, quote, "They could not remove them if they were not monetized," unquote. This is a lie and a clear misunderstanding of how the DMCA process works. Then in 2015, there was the Etsy scandal, with the pertinent information centralized in a post on the Conspiracy Grumps subreddit that also made the point to mention the copyright situation. This begins with this post on the Vent Grumps subreddit, which is smaller than Conspiracy Grumps. The poster opens by talking about Susie's Etsy page, where she was selling an amethyst with a decorated snake coiled around it for 105 Australian dollars. The overview states that this piece is handmade, and that it has a sterling silver chain. This is the second screenshot shared of a Google search that shows not just a similar piece, but also a series of pieces of different gemstones. Upon further inspection, these near-identical copies, only lacking the chain, were being sold for $3 USD each. The poster also attaches additional examples of resold jewelry. Susie responded to this accusation on the main Game Grumps subreddit. Quote, "I have never found crystals or any of my specimens at that price before, so thank you. I actually go to local shops and buy my specimens in person. I use lots of expensive unique items and imported sterling silver chains from Italy on my pieces, so please do not think of me as just selling a $3 charm for $100, because that is not the case." Unquote. Unsatisfied with this response, the original poster who discovered the reselling of jewelry made a second post with even more examples. That's when Susie made another post. Quote, "Hey guys, before I say anything, I just want to apologize for some things I said. I claimed that I buy parts locally, and that isn't true. I guess I was just scared. I can proudly stand by many of my previous claims though. The chains I use are absolutely from Italy, and the parts or accessories I outsource to use in my products are always what I deem to be high in quality." Unquote. Some were open to Susie's apology, while others were disappointed with how long it took. Quote, "Unfortunately, I think for a lot of people, it's already too late. Coming clean was the best thing to do, but you had a chance to address it a month ago when it was brought up, and you told a lie instead. You're sorry, but mostly it'll look like you were sorry you got caught." Unquote. Among the comments responding to Susie was one from Egoraptor. Quote, "I'm absolutely impressed. It has been my sincere effort to approach the subreddit with positivity and encouragement, and I apologize for the tone I'm about to strike, but I don't know any other way to phrase it. I read that all people want is an apology. There is an apology, and now it's like the apology is the worst possible thing that could have ever happened." Unquote. Aaron goes on to state that the person who's criticizing Susie has been harassing her customers and possibly fabricating evidence. He also states, quote, "There's no text anywhere in her store stating her parts and accessories were bought locally, and she apologized for claiming they were elsewhere. All the descriptions in her shop are honest and fair. If you have a problem with the semantics of claims like quote-unquote handmade, then there really is no arguing." Unquote. Aaron also makes note of Susie's taxidermy shop. Quote, "This sort of micro-policing is absolutely ridiculous. Reveal all of her sources for parts and specimens? When has that ever been common practice among product makers aside from marketing stunts, which are mostly lies anyway?" Unquote. There was also the displeasure of the Game Grumps influence to promote the shop. Quote, "What I don't think anyone understands or knows is that Susie has refused again and again to post about her shop on her channel, and it wasn't until I hounded her to do so that she reluctantly did it. She did not want her sales to be influenced by her fan base, and she wanted her success and business to be as a result of the skillful handling of her shop." Unquote. This did not do much to improve Susie's reputation among those already distrustful of her and Aaron, but her apology and Aaron's comment were overall well received. The Conspiracy Grumps subreddit, who was also discussing the shop, had nearly doubled in size from December of 2014 to April of 2015. This is both a product of the building controversies and a side product of the Game Grumps consistency. While not true for the majority of viewers, there exists a small subsect of viewers who grow highly attached to the people they watch. If a creator uploads or streams daily, they have a higher chance of attracting these people as they become ingrained in their lives. These super fans and detractors are certainly not large in numbers, but they are very loud. It is not uncommon for these people to go to great lengths to appease or harass the creators they follow. An example of this is the Leadfoot incident. In August of 2015, the Game Grumps were playing Sonic Adventure DX. Sonic Adventure receives much praise for its varied stages, utilizing different characters alongside additions like the Chow's Garden. But it is also panned for frustrating sections, like its fishing minigame, or the labyrinth-style area that is the jungle, an area where the music has an incredibly short loop.
This stupid fucking repetitive jungle song that never ends and is 5 seconds long, keeps looping endlessly.
While Aaron did get flack for criticizing this game, as was becoming more common as he was expressing his dislike of Sonic games, the controversy here came from a guide they had been following throughout the series.
This is how the game's gonna be.
I can't fucking believe this walkthrough.
What, where it's like, oh, you'll figure it out.
Just a stage overview for the next stage that we haven't gotten to yet. This stage isn't particularly large, so you shouldn't have much trouble locating the emerald pieces. That's the only thing it says about the stage overview. Like,
what a dick face.
Yeah, like, what a colossal waste of time and energy to make a walkthrough like that.
It was not until episode 32 that they were fed up with the guide, particularly the fact that it does not point out the location of the emeralds or how to get them because they are randomized, a fact the Grumps likely did not know.
Here's what this says. Sure, you can use the lit up panels on the wall to climb up, but why bother? Just glide into the wall and climb up. There isn't a lot to say about this stage. Oh, this fucking...
Oh my god.
It isn't particularly large, so you shouldn't have much trouble locating the emerald pieces.
What the fuck is wrong with him?
I know.
Like, what is actually wrong with this guy?
Hold on, I'm fucking...
What the fuck help does he think he's providing anybody?
I'm gonna say the name out loud because people are gonna think that... Yeah, it's the FAQ walkthrough by...
Pizza!
I only say this because people will think we're making this shit up. He wrote this, by the way, in 2004.
Oh, yeah?
So if he gets a wave of hate from our fans, won't he be surprised 11 years later?
This was from a re-uploaded and censored version. The original episode had Dan and Aaron naming the guide's author, who goes by Leadfoot. This is his guide, and this is him on Reddit reacting to the upload. Quote, "Ha! Hey, I actually wrote this damn thing over a decade ago when I had nothing better to do, and had completely forgotten it until this, development was brought to my attention," unquote. Leadfoot goes on to say they wrote this guide at the age of 12, and they were updating it to include the information that the emeralds are randomized. A Redditor then asked Leadfoot if he is getting harassed as rumors were going around that his address and phone number were being spread around, where Leadfoot replies, quote, "Putting my name anywhere was a rookie mistake. Nothing too bad," unquote. Realizing his blunder, Dan posted an apology to Reddit where he clarifies, quote, "At the time, I thought I was being funny, but I should have absolutely had the foresight to realize that some people would actually seek him out and harass him. I'm not going to make any excuses, other than to say that if you talk nonstop on a show every day for years, you're bound to eventually do some stupid shit that you don't fully think through. I really regret my action, and hope that this blows over with the walkthrough author getting as little disruption in his life as possible," unquote. Leadfoot responded to Dan's post with, quote, "Just to offer some closure, Dan did reach out and apologize. The fact that the vast majority of you guys thought that this wasn't cool right from the start is also appreciated. Never thought I'd see YouTube comments not only about me, but actually defending me," unquote. This became a meme of sorts on the Game Grumps subreddit. By the end of the Sonic Adventure series, Dan shared his appreciation at how Leadfoot took it.
Oh, I guess it goes without saying, shout out to our boy Leadfoot.
Leadfoot.
You turned out to be fucking awesome and we love you.
Motherfucker, you are the best.
Rock and roll, baby.
Some, still displeased, claimed that Dan doxed Leadfoot, but that was not the case as he only drew attention to the guide in where Leadfoot had made his email and such public. And since then, Dan has seemingly avoided any similar public comments that could cause targeted harassment of that extent. This was a hiccup in a time of explosive growth for the Game Grumps. The monthly viewer counts were in the millions. In 2015, the Game Grumps channel was receiving triple the viewership month per month than it was in the JonTron era. At the peak of 2015, viewership rose as high as 93 million views in a month. On November 30th, 2015, celebrity Chris Pratt tweeted, quote, "These dudes at #GameGrumps have a lot of loyal fans. After listening, I can see why. So funny. #FBowser," unquote. What's more, Starbomb, the initial collaboration between Ninja Sex Party and Aaron, had finally taken form. Their video game-themed music videos were a massive hit. But even with all these successes, some fans longed for a different time.
So my question is, what are the odds that we might ever see John and Danny on Grumpcade?
Oh my God, 0!
Oh boy.
It's the same with any of our friends who are on the other side of the country.
Yeah.
It's like totally a question of like logistics and like whether we can like just line up our schedules right.
The only barrier of collaboration was distance, as John was in New York. This news quelled some of the more extreme conspiracy theories that something terrible happened between the two. Little did fans know that there would be a collaboration, just not through a Game Grumps episode.
John, you're a friend. An old friend.
A friend? Aaron?
John.
This was the finale of a series known as Starcade, a collaboration between John and Maker Studios, where through 9 episodes, John would go through Star Wars media, whether it be games or the infamous holiday special. This opened a window to what would optimally be more collaborations between the two. It was shutting down the conspiracy theory era. That, interestingly enough, Aaron for a period did not even know if there was animosity between him and John.
The first host I had on Game Grumps was John. We started the show together, and then he left, and there was just this sort of like weird period where we weren't like acknowledging each other, because it was just kind of like it was weird. Like, it was a little weird.
Is it like family leaving?
Yeah, kind of. It was
Yeah.
it was just kind of like, I don't know if I'm mad or not. And then it's like he was the same way. And so we just didn't really talk to each other for a while. But then, like, we were just kind of like, let's go get coffee. And then we did, and we were like, things are cool, right? Yeah, things are cool.
John, on a live stream, expressed that he missed working with Aaron.
That shit made me miss working with Aaron. Our chemistry.
Yeah, you guys, I was surprised by that. You guys really haven't worked together in, 3 years? And you guys walked the stage, you guys immediately just had the chemistry again.
It was like nothing ever changed.
No, it was really exciting.
It was during this time, from 2016 to 2017, that subreddits like the Conspiracy Grumps received very little growth. A time of collaboration with other channels and celebrities.
Welcome to Game Grumps. This is the front door of the area.
That was from the Game Grumps 2017 office tour. It was not so much the size of the office that was meant for Let's Plays that was impressive, but the detail in every corner. Aaron's office was themed like a toy store with his collectibles in view. The office had a Portal-themed bathroom, a Japanese-style bar, and also part of the mix was the open-air office.
And this is the open air office. This is where the dad's team has been working to make Dream Daddy a dad dating simulator, which you can check out.
This access in the creator space is not uncommon. There are also not many creators who produce games, have such a large employee roster, and have editors such as Super Mega who still film for their own channel.
This is the Grump room. Come on inside. So this is where all the magic happens. Right now, Super Mega is recording.
This all only scratches the surface of the around 18-minute long office tour that has custom gadgets like this switching system.
This is fucking magic right here. This is the new switching system for the console. So all the consoles right now are hooked up at once, and all you have to do is press on the touch screen. So get a Y to this so you can see what's going on here, right? So we got the Wii U turned on and we got the GameCube turned on, right? So if I want to check out the Wii U, all I gotta do is press the button and it switches to the fucking Wii U.
This office is a clear representation of the Game Grumps' success.
Everyone pretty much in our group has success in life. Not mostly, but in part some way because of Aaron. And I just can't express it into words. I don't know how to say it, but yeah.
I feel the same way. Very generous guy, and I feel like he gets the most shit.
He does.
Out of any of us, and he is the one who is responsible at the core for everything else that's happened.
It gets to him too. He won't admit it, but he has to look the other way because otherwise it'll just he'll crumble.
Even with the heights that were being reached, the amount of work through Starbomb, touring, and Let's Plays did take its toll.
We went to El Paso and we recorded a whole new Starbomb album.
Oh God, yeah.
That was crazy.
That was crazy. Sent me into a little tizzy afterwards.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What does that mean?
Heavy depression.
What? Really?
Oh yeah, man.
Why?
I think I was just overworked.
Well, interesting.
Yeah.
To add to this was the persistent dislike of Eagle Raptor that was bound to get a little better but much worse after the infamous JonTron Destiny debate, where the two discussed socio-political issues, which John later stated he performed terribly in. For some, this changed how they viewed John depending on whether they aligned with or despised what he said. After this, John clarified his feelings while also rarely engaging with this level of political discourse again. At the end of 2017, Aaron addressed the question if John would ever appear on Guest Grumps.
It's been a long time since I've talked to John. We're not on bad terms. We're on fine terms. It's just that he lives across the country. Questionable if he'll be on the show on Guest Grumps due to recent things that have been said. Yeah, very questionable. Do not agree with any of those things.
The roaring crowd, caused by Aaron's clarification in that he disagreed with what John said, reinvigorated this division. Those that value creator beliefs when their content is not inherently political were now disliking Aaron for the same reason they disliked John. Then there were those displeased that those statements were enough to bar John from appearing on the Grumps. There was likely not anything Aaron could have said that would have pleased everyone in this situation. Regardless, this was another angle the hatred of Aaron was building from. There was also the view that he was a hypocrite, with clips like this one spreading.
We've had a shirt available called, it's the Run DBZ poster. It was designed by one of our great guys, Vernon here. You should go check it out. It's a funny shirt.
That's the stuff that bothers me the most, when two pop culture things are mashed up together.
Right.
It's alright, it's harmless, but I don't know, it's just annoying.
Yeah. It's like, oh, two things that are cool combining to be lame.
Yeah, it's like, oh, one of those wasn't good enough for you? Just one? Just Star Wars wasn't good enough for you?
There was also Aaron's usage of the N-word in the past and his changing of perspectives that would hit its climax in the coming years. Those not interested in the socio-political views of the Game Grumps could find displeasure in Aaron's approach to games, whether it be analytical in his sequelitis or his frustration at games that often comes from his lack of engagement or impatience with them.
I love heels. I love buffoon characters. So it's a natural inclination for me to play that kind of character if I'm doing like improv-y stuff.
Yeah.
So like I just leaned into that because it's very easy for me to do that.
Yeah.
Aaron goes on to expand on how he plays this character to enhance the show, but also had a frustration in that people viewed him as an idiot, rather than understanding the character he was playing. In December of 2017, there was an over hour-long compilation of Aaron raging at video games that now has over 3 million views. In this case, as per the supportive comments, his exaggerative and angry nature is praised rather than countered with further frustration. However, there exist moments that this anger doesn't seem like it's coming from a character.
Clearly I can fucking do it without getting hit. Until your stupid asshole game gets in my fucking way and wastes my goddamn time, I have to do this stupid fucking bullshit again! For 3 fucking minutes!
Cece?
It's a masterpiece! 10 out of 10!
That came from a video titled, "This is how you don't play Ocarina of Time with Game Grumps." This is a style of video borrowed from detractors of infamous Let's Player Dark Side Phil. The point of these videos is to highlight incompetence, with this one at nearly 400,000 views likely being the most popular of the style connected to Aaron. This also plays into Aaron's sequelitis of Ocarina of Time, that while overall well received, is the most disliked of the series, and is the weakest video.
A book can tell you the main character's a hero with dialogue. A movie can too. But in a game you can feel it. You can experience it firsthand. You don't need dialogue. Why was the inclusion of so many semantics necessary? And I don't buy the argument that they're only there to richen the world with story, because adding those contexts to the situation is devaluing design aspects. The game literally stops for you to complete some asinine story task.
Aaron makes the point that bottlenecking or slowing down progress through interacting with the correct NPC detracts from Ocarina of Time, while negating a major aspect of the game are the 2 versions of the world. The uncorrupted version Link lives in as a child, and a ruined world Link experiences as an adult. The game forces this lore on the player to emphasize Ganon's destructive role. There are also critiques of how the game builds up anticipation versus Link to the Past, or how enemies can be slower to fight in that they will block attacks, forcing a slower exchange of shielding and countering. This last bit matters, as a major criticism of Aaron's approach in his Ocarina Let's Play is his lack of using a shield. But also, there is a frustration from Aaron in the corrective nature of audience members that seemingly bleeds into the real world.
When you greet somebody, you're like, hello, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, hey, how's it going? Or like, great to meet you. I like the ones that come up to me and are like,
what is this? Ooh.
Why don't you use the shield in Zelda?
That was from a video of the Game Grumps playing Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. Also within this episode was Dan selecting in-game badges dependent on the given answers and a Q&A he posted.
I went into my Reddit AMA that I did on the plane while I was bored, and found this super helpful thing. So thanks to Going Greener on Reddit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And thanks to everybody who emails me. I know I'm salty, but
yeah, they're just trying to help, man.
I appreciate the feedback.
Totally.
It's very kind.
Badges in Paper Mario vary in what they can do, from increasing your defense when blocking to unlocking different types of attacks. Only a select amount can be equipped dependent on how many badge points the player has available. The Quake Hammer, for example, is an excellent badge as it serves as an AoE attack, meaning it hits all ground targets, though the majority of badges that are attacks lack versatility, which is why passive badges that increase things like attack power are preferable, and can make the game significantly easier, which is why Dan posted that AMA. What's more, the response he's reading from recommended essential badges to where Dan could fill in the rest depending on how he wanted to play.
I mean, I don't want to weigh in on this because what if I'm wrong? What if it's the wrong badge?
Okay, restoring HP, that's good.
Hey Dan, also when you move around, you should go right in a perfect straight line instead of going up and down because that wastes time. And also, when you fight, you should go to the right instead of the left to get to the menu item, because that shaves off another 2 seconds.
Ow.
Dude, shit's falling on you like crazy.
I noticed.
You're poisoned, you're dizzied, you got shit falling on you. Mario's fucked. Maybe you shouldn't have changed those badges, dude.
Stop.
You're in a really shitty position now.
Please let it go. Oh my god.
While Aaron's jest could be targeting the overall corrective nature of commenters, the comments in this video were particularly frustrated with him because it was Dan who was seeking advice. Some of the comments read, quote, "Aaron, it's our game, we should choose how to play." Dan had literally put out an AMA wanting help, of which someone responded kindly and respectfully, unquote. A different comment points out that this is expected from the channel. Quote, "Wow, it's almost like Aaron's a grump and Danny's not so grump. Wait, what's the name of this channel again?" Unquote. And then there is a comment that speaks to the building frustration as a whole, one that is not isolated to this video, but rather the Grump's use of walkthroughs in other games. In a way, this video and its comments capture the expected nature of Aaron to play a character that speaks to the frustrating experiences in games with some levity, like the Sonic 06 Let's Play. But when he takes a similar approach to games that are considered cult classics, with issues that are unique to Aaron, these complaints do not resonate with viewers, and it can appear as Aaron is critical of a game when in reality he lacks the ability or patience to approach it. This is only part of the annoyance with Aaron, and is a far cry from clips such as this one.
This is probably like the best I've ever done in any game.
Is that right?
Because just the level of hardness. Come on with the fucking jellyfish! I shot it like 3 times! I shot it like 3 fucking times and it wasn't dying! I think I sharded myself!
By 2018, though viewership was mostly steady, there was a downward trend. This appears to be true for a fair amount of Let's Play channels, with gaming streamers gaining popularity and an era that allowed for even higher interactivity. But the Game Grumps were no longer entirely game-oriented, as they started a new series known as 10-Minute Power Hour, where Dan and Aaron would use products or enjoy other activities in front of the camera. There was also the short-lived YouTube-bred series Go to Game, with Dan and Aaron playing characters that are involved in an esports team. This show was panned, and like many YouTube-bred shows, it was discontinued. The Grumps were becoming out of favor. From late 2018 to the following years, there would be a series of blows that would strike at both the reputation of Aaron Hansen and the Grumps. This is from a mishandling of conflict, possible hypocrisy, the many failures of the Grump employees, and even their game, Dream Daddy, that while already released, the infamous events around it are still being discussed. This all begins with Aaron's tweet on November 11, 2018. Quote, "Dude, if you don't think you're cool, forget it, you're cool." Unquote. A fan responds, quote, "Unless you're Ross, then you're not cool," unquote. To which Aaron responded, quote, "Bump you! Ross is great, I don't appreciate you talking smack about my friends," unquote. The fan then apologizes and later donates on stream.
He says, "Aaron, I hope you weren't really mad about my Ross not being cool tweet. I was just joking in homage to the old days of Damn It Ross, but I got hate from people when you responded. Love you guys."
Just don't like it when people make fun of my friends.
Fair enough.
You know what actually does bother me about it?
Tell me, Aaron.
It's just that, like, just because it's a meme, it's okay to, like, shit on somebody, but it's not.
Right.
It's like it means the same when you say fuck that guy, whether it's a meme or not.
Although
it's just fucking uncool.
Although yes, Ross, I agree. You want to say something? Ross is
Here,
coming
Ross,
up.
let me hand you the mic.
Here we go, buddy.
So last night, I discovered that people make compilations of Game Grumps. I didn't know that, and I found out some guy had made a compilation of all the times YouTube shit talk me on Game Grumps. It's an hour and a half long, and it ends, no shit, with you guys in Dark Souls saying, "You know what's really funny about this? Russ doesn't watch Game Grumps. He's never going to see any of this." And that's what it ends with.
This is the meme the fan was referencing.
God damn it, Ross!
One that the Grumps sold shirts in the past to promote. Aaron's displeasure towards the fan in that he did not accept the fan's intent of jest and an old meme sourced from the Grumps was odd. Odd like this Instagram post from the Grumps captioned, "Who killed John Benet Ramsey?" The comments, while somewhat mixed, do express the displeasure in editing Aaron's face to look like a brutally murdered 6-year-old whose case had gained recent traction through the true crime genre. This post was shortly removed and was sourced to Allie, the Game Grumps social media manager, who apologized within this Reddit post. Then, in April 2019, was this video titled "The Hypocrisy of Aaron Hansen." It opens with Dan talking about his displeasure of Axl Rose of Guns N' Roses, particularly the song "One in a Million," where Axl says the N-word, where Aaron then states,
I just can't imagine the context of like this super white dude just dropping N-bombs in a fucking rock and roll song.
The video then cuts to some of the many times Aaron has said the N-word in the past, as well as Susie when quoting Aaron saying it. A more complete compilation is this one that is 5 minutes in length, titled Game Grumps N-word Compilation. It has racked up triple the number of views of the aforementioned video. It was around this time that Ellis Mark released a video critical of the Game Grumps, with Ellis Mark's character placed in a guillotine, understanding the flack he was going to get for making this video.
I think it's pretty obvious that Game Grumps, the main series that is on its last legs with a dwindling viewership, which I think is entirely down to oversaturation. They used to upload 3 times a day, and big surprise, not everyone wants to watch 30 minutes of Aaron screaming like a child every 24 hours. I'm going to quickly compare Game Grumps to another very similar Let's Play channel, Oni Plays. Oni Plays was created by an old friend of Aaron's, Chris O'Neill, and he manages to do what Aaron could never accomplish, be funny. The hosts constantly work off each other, hitting the viewer with joke after joke after joke, and are completely aware that they're just stupid Let's Players.
The main host of Oni Plays at the time were Chris O'Neill, Ding Dong, and Julian. Chris appearing in a video was standard as it was his Let's Play channel. Just like Aaron, Chris was an animator from Newgrounds, one that collaborated with Aaron as well as various other well-known animators from the website. Their approach to their Let's Play channels are far different. Aaron, through Game Grumps, takes a strict approach. He releases videos daily with a single co-host. This in itself will guarantee exhaustion and a lower quality of video, as having the same 2 people force a conversation over the course of several years will more often than not have conversations devolve into nonsense. What's more, the strictness of seeing Let's Plays through makes Aaron frustrated at a game he does not have interest in, which worsens the viewing experience. Oni Plays, especially in its most recent episodes, has a changing cast of guests, most of which are recognizable, but at times exist away from the channel, which means when they do appear again, they may have more interesting opinions or stories to share. Rarely does the channel dedicate itself to a complete Let's Play, as they will play it either until the guest leaves or the interest of the host who plays said game has left. Oni Plays is far more relevant to the story of Game Grumps than drawing the comparisons of channels.
But if Aaron is anything like how the stories I've heard describe him, then it doesn't surprise me how many people have joined and left Game Grumps. Like how supposedly after 2 of the hosts, Ding Dong and Julian, from Oni Plays said that the game they were funding was pandering, which it was, Aaron bumped up their office rent, basically forcing them to move out.
This new wave of hatred toward the Game Grumps and Aaron Hansen is what possibly caused this infamous tweet chain. It starts with Aaron listing off the 5 jobs he's had, from working at Blockbuster to becoming the owner of an entertainment company. To this, a Twitter user responds, quote, "Entertainment company? Yeah, sure," unquote. Aaron retorts, quote, "We produced over 6,000 episodes of the 4th most watched gaming show in NA. Co-produced a 6-episode serial with Dan Harmon, produced 2017's second best-selling indie game, produced 3 #1 Nielsen charting comedy albums, multi-million viewed 6 episodes reality series," unquote.
Negativity sort of at least gets to me when it sort of taps into something that's going on with me. Then I'm like, oh, that hurts, because it sort of reinforces this idea that like other people think what I think about myself, which is negative.
This could explain Aaron's response, especially during this period of negativity around him. As a counter to this, the subreddit Positivity Grumps was established on April 30th, 2019, but it did not take off and currently sits at 217 members. The Rant Grumps subreddit, however, was getting increasingly more popular with its 8,200 members. Even so, the actual Game Grumps subreddit towered above it all at 196,000 members, though it was just as critical towards Aaron during this time. Then, on May 3rd, 2019, Super Mega announced they were leaving the Game Grumps. Coincidentally, the same day, Chris O'Neill tweets a 2-letter word, ha. The responses are mostly referring to Super Mega leaving. 7 days later came the announcement of Ben.
So now we have the delightful new Ben. Ben, say hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
There were some growing pains. While some may think the job of an editor is to stitch together clips, their job is far more important and often less understood if done well. They are gatekeepers, knowing what to throw away and what to keep, knowing what tone to take with any which section of a video. They are meant to amplify and not distract, the latter of which is what Ben was doing. This is Dan's solo Let's Play of King's Quest IV. This is a very slow and quiet game. It complements Dan's relaxed demeanor and is something viewers could relax or even fall asleep to, only to be woken up by Ben's editing.
Ben will cut back in once I've found that unicorn. Here we go. There we go.
The comments that discuss Ben's edits in this video are displeased with the disruptive nature of it. That's why someone uploaded a version of this Let's Play absent of Ben's edits, titled King Quest IV Stop at Ben. The displeasure with Ben wasn't even at its maximum. This is a 2017 Instagram post of Ben with Jacob Sartorius. Then, this is a 2019 tweet of a picture of an around 16-year-old Jacob Sartorius. Ben continued to tweet at Jacob, getting reprimanded by Twitter for tweeting at him, quote, "Let's do meth and drive off a cliff," unquote. This came to a head late 2017 when Ben tweeted, quote, "Is it okay to request a 17-year-old male YouTuber post nudes to the timeline if it's a joke?" unquote. It wasn't until later that Ben was getting flack for these strange tweets. Yet he persisted. Until it became too much and he apologized. Ben in his Reddit post apologizes and explains his initial chance picture and following tweets were a combination of messing with a young family member who was a fan of Jacob Sartorius alongside ramping up his character-driven Twitter account that is part of a comedy rap group that quote-unquote trafficked in edgy humor. It was not until later that he realized his jokes were not being taken as such, and thus came his apology and explanation. As for the Grumps, in mid-2019, they were getting flack for a different reason. They were trying to stop swearing in a bid to not get demonetized or lose favor of the algorithm. Fans were not pleased that there was no official post of this. This was part of a grander issue of poor communication and frustration towards their community manager Ali, as the only place this was announced was in the middle of an Undertale Let's Play.
For those of you who are wondering, we're trying to not swear anymore.
While this is relatively innocuous as far as criticism goes, what made it matter was just one day after critiquing the lack of communication from the Grumps was the mishandling of the Grumps garage sale.
My name's Wacky Aaron, and come on down to Game Grumps garage sale this weekend, the 29th and 30th. Wow!
This Reddit post alleges that they had 800 RSVP'd, likely through the Facebook event post that is no longer available. The issue present here is that those people did desire to attend a free event, and it is harder to measure an event that is not capped by tickets. It took only a few hours for a line to build up due to a venue that could only serve a fraction of those people at a time. It got so bad that Vernon, an employee of the Grumps, was going around giving water to people waiting in line. The event was not entirely organized inside either. Quote, "I showed up at 8 a.m. I got in line for merch the moment I walked in because it was required to buy merch to get a signing. But lines were all over the place. They were only there from 10 to 12, and they kept the line at 11:15. Maybe next time don't sound so condescending," unquote. This was in response to a tweet that was in defense of the Grumps that in turn was part of the Grumps post announcing, quote, "Unfortunately, we went way over capacity today and we will not be open tomorrow," unquote. Aaron quote-tweeted this response with additional information. Quote, "I want to apologize to everyone who couldn't make it, was planning to come Sunday, or was after the cap," unquote. In the thread, Aaron explains that they worked at a similar event and the capacity was not so bad. Thinking the numbers would be similar had them underestimate how many people would show up. The garage sale lines were so long that they wrapped around the building. As such, the Game Grumps got a call from the city informing them that it was akin to running a parade without a permit and a huge safety hazard. This is why they had to start turning people away and why the city canceled the second day. Finally, Aaron commits himself to improve. Quote, "This sort of thing won't happen again, and we're already thinking of how to do this better," unquote. There were a few more hiccups that people took displeasure with. Like this fan who found the game he gifted being resold with a note the fan wrote still inside, implying that the game was never opened. But the fan clarifies that he is not insulted by this, though some were insulted by Aaron selling figures that were from a deceased friend. But others saw it as selling these figures to someone who would appreciate them more. A possible reason for this garage sale was because the Grumps were moving offices.
Will the new office be as decorated as the old one? No.
Oh.
It was very expensive and not a good idea because it's not ours anymore. See, the new buildings, it belongs to us, but
the office we were in, we were renting.
This move came with a new channel, known simply as the Grumps.
Hey everybody, what the heck are you seeing right now? It's a channel trailer!
My name is Dan Avedon.
And I'm Aaron Hansen, and this is the Grumps.
This would host 10-minute Power Hour and would also host any in front of the camera videos they wanted to do. The Game Grumps channel will continue to host Let's Plays and animations. On that topic, there was a particular animation that Aaron was not a fan of. On July 30th, 2019, animator Senor Bello premiered a video satirizing Storytime animators. This uses the avatars and styles of popular animators that tell of relatable and often innocuous stories through the medium of animation.
One day I was at the school. Oh wow! That is relatable!
They're fun, and the story of Senor Bello's video is then ruined by channels that are more critical on YouTube, as a counter to the innocent nature of Storytime channels. Some of the top comments from this video are from Storytime channels depicted, appreciative of Pello's adaptation of their animation style and Pello's overall approach to the subject matter. Pello posted about this video on Twitter, to which Aaron responded, quote, "This is mean. I got made fun of like this all the time when I made cartoons and it fucking sucked. It didn't give me a thick skin or make me a better artist or make me think about what I was doing. It just hurt. The fact that all the people patting you on the back for this cartoon are old school Newgrounds types, with very few quote-unquote STAs commenting speaks volumes. You can use this thread to pretend it's all in good fun, but it's not fun. It's mean. It hurts." Unquote. Aaron goes on to say that this video only segregates. Bello responded in surprise and stated he did not mean harm, and the last thing he wants to do is hurt. He even apologized if Aaron took it that way, and states that he can explain every joke in the whole video. Besides the bullying reason, a different reason Aaron was displeased with this video is that he toured with some of the channels in Senor Bello's video like Jaden Animations. Not everyone was as nice as Bello when responding to Aaron, like Chris O'Neill, who stated, quote, "Newgrounds made you, and is probably the place with the least hate you've ever gotten anywhere online. You say you don't read comments. Maybe that's why you think it's better. It's the internet. You laughed hard at SF Chode. P.S. Bello's cartoon is funny jabs. Christ almighty, grow up." Unquote. A different animator known as SpazKid, who is friends with Chris and many other Newgrounds animators, also responded to Aaron, stating that Senor Bello's video was lighthearted and confusing if anything. SpazKid also refutes that Newgrounds was as toxic as Aaron depicts it, and that Tom, likely Tom Fulp, the founder of Newgrounds, has only ever wanted to support him and that Aaron needs to, quote, "stop pushing everyone away and wake up." Unquote. Overall, Aaron's reaction was not well received. It was even turned into a meme on the Game Grumps subreddit. With word of Aaron's critical stance spreading, a resurgence of Aaron's old, not-so-advertiser-friendly content began spreading to counter Aaron. That's why on August 1st, 2019, he posted 2 images of his statement, opening with acknowledging that he has appeared on the Twitter trending tab as a topic of conversation, and the clips of him saying controversial things in the past are spreading alongside it. He denounces his history and states he used to be an angry kid. Piss and vinegar, anything goes. Now he resents his former self and wants the young folk who look up to him to not want to think that, quote, using hurtful words and making hurtful jokes is okay. Unquote. This was Senor Bello's response to the drama, expressing a desire to move on. Aaron's approach to Senor Bello was not well received. This mishandling and or lack of understanding was the theme of 2019. From the garage sale, to his tweet about running an entertainment company, to all the other smaller things that happened in 2019. Aaron, the person who previously stumbled into success, was now choreographing failure, and Soviet Jump Game was no exception. On November 16, 2019, Aaron kicked off a series of videos where he played imitation NES games. These are a mix of counterfeit and or modified cartridges that were distributed by anyone but Nintendo for the Dendy system, an unofficial Russian console that could play NES games and its own assortment of games, which were mostly Russian bootlegs of existing NES games. Within the first video, Aaron plays Dendy games on a different console known as the Retron 5. This system can play far more than NES games and is somewhat of a catch-all for various retro consoles, except the Dendy. This is why the cartridges either did not work or were interpreted incorrectly. but there was one game that somewhat worked.
Okay. I don't know what this says. Apparently there's an error. It's nice that there's like Dendy branding. That's kind of cool.
Unable to proceed with whatever game this is, Aaron moves on. In the follow-up video, Aaron uses the original Dendy console and can play the bootleg games without issue, except for one.
Okay. Still has the error screen.
All right.
Got the little elephant boy. And I don't know what it says or what it means, but let's move on to the next one.
Okay, great.
By the third video, titled Lost Piece of Gaming History Uncovered, the ruse was up.
Hey Aaron, I saw the episode of Game Grumps about the Dendy games, that weird one you couldn't figure out, the one that I couldn't get past the whatever the screen was that had like an X on it. It said it needed an internet adapter. I didn't know there was an internet adapter for the Dendy.
For anyone familiar with retro consoles, especially those manufactured before the 2000s, knew that this was not what it seemed, and those familiar with ARGs or alternate reality games knew exactly what these videos were. ARGs are not easy to define. Put simply, they are media that presents itself as non-fiction. They offer a puzzle of sorts that can be solved through examination of footage and largely rely on the uncertainty in whether it is real, which spurs curiosity. But the end of this journey was an ad campaign, which some saw as unsatisfactory, especially for those that did not know what ARGs are.
Him and his team are getting close to being finished with this game, which we're now calling Soviet Jump Game, and we're gonna do like a pre-release to make sure everything's working, to make sure all the networking is working, because it's a 30-year-old game, and there's probably a lot of weirdness.
The trailer for Soviet Jump Game released December 4th, 2019. The comments are a bit mixed. Quote, I literally remember thinking when I saw the quote-unquote documentary, haha, wouldn't it be funny if this was all just like a super elaborate plan to release a new game? For real though, this looks really fun, lol, unquote. A different comment reads, quote, I'm a little disappointed in myself for getting invested in this ad campaign, unquote. In January of 2020, Aaron released an apology of sorts while still participating in the ARG in a video where he gets kidnapped by the KGB.
Can't you at least admit you made a mistake in how you presented all this?
I wasn't aware of how it would come off, so yes, I guess I made a mistake in that way. And also, I think I made a mistake in not reprimanding people who were being mean to people who were just participating or who didn't really know what was going on. But if I backpedal, then no one's going to be happy. Not the people who liked the bit and not the people who wanted me to apologize. I really should have just announced this normally.
This was not the first game from the Grumps to be criticized for events outside of it, nor the only ARG Aaron used to market one of his products, like his book. A book that, as part of the ARG, claims his uncle wrote, and Aaron's mom is demanding that Aaron promote. With Aaron framing this as being disinterested in his uncle's project, but bending to family pressure. Twitter users were trying to comfort Aaron through understanding. Quote, sorry you're being forced to do something for a person you don't really care for. I know what it's like to have family members you don't really want to associate with. Unquote. This was the largest problem with this ARG. As with Soviet Jump Game, those unfamiliar with ARGs approached this with genuine concern, only to have their feelings betrayed. Even so, this ARG was not nearly as disliked as Soviet Jump Game, as it was self-contained, meaning that it did not pique the interest of a larger crowd that has interest in lost media. That and, this game was easily understood. It cued followers that this was an ARG, done in ways like this interview when Aaron interviewed his quote-unquote uncle.
Where do you get the inspiration for such a great and well-rounded three-dimensional characters?
Very good question. The characters were pulled from all walks of life in my mind.
In the end, the book he was promoting is highly rated. The reviews are following along with the game by referencing Aaron's uncle rather than a critical review about the book. The same can be said for the other Game Grumps developed and published game, Dream Daddy. Quote, where you play as a dad and your goal is to meet and romance other hot dads. Are you ready? Hi, I'm Dad. Unquote. It is impossible to break down the fallout around this game accurately. There are those that want this story to die following the wishes of those involved, but not exactly because their wishes were to get the story correct and not reported in a manner used to fan the flames of a separate existing fire.
But this is going to be here for you guys if you want to watch it, if you need to be informed, if you need a better understanding. Leave people alone on this. Aaron, I had mentioned in the previous stream, no, I don't like him. I don't like a lot around like his behavior, but at the same time, as much as people want him to be the big target, Aaron was pretty disconnected from a lot of this. Some of these decisions were coming from other ends and not really his own.
That was Ding Dong, an ex-employee of the Game Grumps and former co-host of Only Plays, stating how Aaron is largely detached from Dream Daddy. That is because viewers were using this Dream Daddy fiasco to hate Aaron, and that is why it is important to clarify that Aaron was hardly involved. So what is the Dream Daddy controversy? That starts around 2016.
Vernon came to me one day and said, I have an idea. I want to make a dad dating simulator where you're a dad trying to romance other dads. And I was like, I love that. Yes.
By Vernon, Aaron means Vernon Shaw, a former Maker employee who now works at the Game Grumps. This game had a development time of approximately a year. According to Ding Dong, there was chatter in the office displeased at the game's development. The writing felt underwhelming in the sense that it captured a superficial gay experience. Allegedly, the promoting of the game felt that its representation was being used to deride other games. It was this and Ding Dong's own complaints as a gay man that hadn't come forward with these complaints.
From my end, seeing everything, knowing everything about it, it just comes off as nothing but exploitation. Exploitation of the game industry, exploitation of the gay community, exploitation in terms of that audience, hoping to prey on teens, the Tumblr crowd, all of that. That's all it reads as to me. I've watched as it's been made. I've talked to people involved with it. I've witnessed it. I understand what it is.
Being that was in 2017, the time that Super Mega were still part of Game Grumps, Matt Watson of Super Mega gave Ding Dong access to an early build, which is where Ding Dong is drawing his criticisms from, and how it was allegedly being advertised as.
I don't like that a bigger gap gets to be created because people who are involved with this get to act so nasty about it and put down like, oh, so straight white males. It's like, come on. This is just, especially when it applies to you, that sort of thing should not be a mentality going in with it. You should be focusing on trying to just create something empowering if that's what you want to do.
In these now deleted tweets, Ding Dong states that after he came out with the complaints, none of his fellow employees backed him up, as he later explains in more detail.
We talked to a bunch of people, and one employee specifically even showed us a gigantic email of all these things that he wanted to bring up. We got told later he didn't even send it. Maybe he did, but I got told he didn't send it. I would have believed it because, yeah, we got turned around on by like everybody.
It was not just the fact that he was betrayed by those now staying silent, but it was also the intensity of the harassment that he endured afterwards that made this all awful. Quote, "It'd be an understatement to say that day didn't affect me. My cell phone number got leaked, people were insisting whenever we installed the game and were lying. Extended family was being contacted, friends turned their backs on me. It felt like everything was over." Unquote.
You know, who actually showed us what was actually happening there, because for the longest time the narrative kind of was like, okay, I guess these two guys were just really erratic and they decided to just want to say stuff about this and like ruin their lives needlessly and throw themselves under, but no, it's because behind the scenes we were having people continuously bring it up to us. I wouldn't have cared about it at all if it weren't for the fact that I was seeing it hurting people, and on Julian's end, it was making Julian cry. We would get home and he would be miserable just knowing that everybody at this office is just not able to say anything or do anything here. And while it was a betrayal, not the kind that people really thought it was, did it lead to a lot of bad stuff? Oh, absolutely. I mean, I tried to kill myself the day after. Julian had to stop me, and I'm glad he did.
Julian was also part of Only Plays and is Ding Dong's boyfriend. This audio is from a 2022 stream where Ding Dong talked about what he went through. There was also 2 later 2023 streams done. One was with Julian that will also be shown.
A lot happened over the holiday season. We didn't have a very good Christmas, obviously, and neither did we have a good New Year's. I'm no longer talking to my mom. She took pleasure in a lot of the abuse she did to me when I was younger, so I finally just told her off.
The harassment from fans, being outed as gay to his family, the stressors of the betrayal from his coworkers. What made it all worse is how much of this was sourced from them.
I'm not kidding with this shit. Some of the 4chan threads, you want to know who made them? Somebody that we actually know. People near us. People who actually did want to sabotage us and ensure no one would ever fucking listen.
Your phone number was impossible to have gotten out.
Yes.
That had to have come from somebody on the inside.
That's why when someone was trying to insist recently, the new narrative is, I think it was his stalker. No, do you know how my phone number got out? Somebody very direct that we knew did it. And I'm thinking of 3 specific people who it could have been. But honestly, at this point, I'll say I think I know exactly who it was, because they were responsible for a lot of this behind the scenes. I was getting warnings since the beginning that it was even happening, that sometimes at the office it was happening, that they were noticing that in the web history things were getting posted and being used.
Ding Dong does not specify who this employee was. That's why fans and anti-fans twisting the narrative to be against those who they oppose made it all worse for Ding Dong. That and bad actors were using this story to be predatory.
No, fans made a Discord, quote-unquote fans made a Discord, and then started trying to advertise it in streams, and eventually when we caught on to it, we had people who were in it then sending us DMs telling us, hey, there's illegal shit going on here. They're trying to make timelines. They're trying to figure out how they can hurt you more. And not only that, but they're preying on younger people who are in your chat. And they were. And it got reported.
Reflecting on the initial complaints about Dream Daddy and what it ballooned out into makes the initial situation seem small.
It was as straightforward as we were working at the office. People were getting frustrated by this game because they felt it was performative. They felt like there wasn't a lot of effort actually legitimately going into it. They felt like it was just supposed to be, kind of a tool for PR because they were paying a lot of money on PR at the time. There was a lot of complaints about how things were being divided out in the office, all the stuff, all these different complaints. And the funny thing is, looking back on all of it, I don't even take most of it as legitimate now. I just take it as a thing that people were just kind of complaining for the sake of complaining.
Ding Dong has expressed multiple times to not be bothered and not to weaponize his story. He refrains from naming the exact people he suspects are responsible and makes note of the density of the information that is lacking.
If you guys are going to try to do detective work, I promise you, you're not going to go in the right direction at all. Yes, a lot happened. Yes, even more happened than stuff that I discussed during that 15-hour stream than here. If I was ever going to go over with someone just how much we went through, it would take probably days.
That 15-hour stream is not available. Even the streams that are archived are cut down or cut off the fuller stream. When creator Bo Blacks made a video on Matter while playing sections of the already cut down stream uncontested, Ding Dong left a comment on how Bo Blacks' video is clickbait, and that Ding Dong said he did not want a re-upload that was specifically heavily condensed as it was in Bo Blacks' video. In a follow-up comment, Ding Dong pins Rant Grumps as a source of misinformation. It appears Ding Dong later deleted his comments, though they remain archived in this video, which exposes a big issue in the matter, in that those that do want to get a deep dive and want to understand but cannot, because the 15-hour stream is not up. There only exist snippets of the story which are cut down streams that Ding Dong denounces. Some commenters point this out. Quote, I agree that Ding Dong in that sensationalizing situations and pointing figures without knowing the full story is a big problem and makes things worse. Where I think he messed up is admitting he is withholding critical information that he may never release to the public. That will also make the situation worse, as he is creating the idea that whatever the public doesn't know is truly damning, which breeds speculation. Both sides are making a toxic environment where everyone involved is being hurt, which can only be fixed by someone pulling the trigger and telling all, which no one wants to do. There will be a wave of backlash to someone, but then people can finally have closure and move on. I love Ding Dong to death, but he really should have just named names if he didn't want people trying to figure out who he was talking about. Just let it all out instead of getting mad about people trying to know who he was even talking about. The only named person was Matt, and he apparently, quote-unquote, did the least. Unquote. There is not much that can be said without that 15-hour stream, only that its cut-down variants have been used maliciously in the past. This is partly the result of a very split community of those obsessed with the Game Grumps and Aaron Hansen. Fans and anti-fans can be quite expressive and ignorant of each other's perspectives. But if anything is true, it is that the Game Grumps tend to harbor a very infamous audience.
And you know what, I gotta tell you something. Aaron's a chill guy. I like him. I do. But I want to tell you something else. And I get it. There's not a lot of people watching Epic Mealtime in 2022, but the people that watch Game Grumps fucking suck.
That was Harley of Epic Mealtime at the Creator Clash conference, where the matchup was not entirely even.
Harley weighs in today at 276.8 pounds. Aaron weighs in today at 214.4 pounds.
Aaron lost this fight. Apparently, the medic called the fight when Aaron wanted to keep on going. It was for a charity event, so it does make sense in a way. This happened in 2022. The only other major controversy around this time was Dan being exposed. The tweet exposing him starting with a trigger warning, grooming, pedophilia. It took just 2 days for the user to walk this back. While Dan did sleep with a fan, she was not underage. She was 22. And the main grievance was that he used her for sex and then discontinued communication. As for the channel, Game Grumps, it has been falling in views since its peak, going from around getting 60 million in 2018 to 20 million in 2022 to where it has settled somewhat.
Where we're at right now in terms of like how much we're making, how many views we're getting, what our staff is, I'm very happy with.
Yeah. You also have a very dedicated fan base. I would say like Game Grumps there's a lot of people online who have to get a lot more than you have, a lot more eyes on their stuff than you have to make it their job. But you only have to have a very dedicated fan base that's just at a much smaller number to survive. And you guys have like a very, very dedicated fan base.
Game Grumps has a unique fan base because the channel is unique. It boasts the most standards of Let's Plays, down from the commentary to the game selection. It does not have to be more than what it is. But it is harder to find any Let's Play channel that has been as consistent as the Game Grumps. Their business approach of daily uploads is unlike any other Let's Play channel on the platform. Simply put, other group Let's Play channels grow exhausted of one another. The repetition of the work, the complaints of approaches to games, turning a passion into a job are all things that lead to burnout. And though the Grumps had no doubt struggled with these, they have pressed on. As a reward and consequence, they have built a very attached fanbase that is as dedicated to watching their daily uploads as the Grumps are in producing them. With so much viewing, there becomes points where less favorable qualities are abstracted. Aaron's complaining comes to mind. His dislike of popular series such as Legend of Zelda or Sonic, which for a period he was an ambassador for, before getting removed from that position.
So if any of you at home are wondering if your voice makes a difference, it does. Whenever they would post something with me in it and all the comments on Twitter were like, "What the fuck? Aaron hates Sonic! Fuck you, Sega!" They saw them.
This is what one very small section of it that dislikes him for his critiques can do. Then there are those that dislike him due to the JonTron era of Game Grumps. Even though John was in Game Grumps for less than a year in a channel that has existed for more than a decade, there are still videos being made that go into extreme depths in analyzing the real reason John left the Game Grumps. There is still a large amount of people that want a satisfactory answer. Then there is the socio-political nature of their relationship. From JonTron's now near 8-year-old Destiny debate to Aaron's hedge response to it. Expanding on that is his critical nature of those that use slurs, while he was one of those people that did so in the past. But there is also him being critical of himself for doing so. Then there is a general dislike of him in some sections of the animation community. The Sarpello controversy brings the question if there is something causing a deeper divide, but at minimum it was not through Dream Daddy. As Ding Dong clarified, Aaron was virtually not involved, but this expands on another issue. In that the Game Grumps are criticized, many will picture Aaron as he is the largest cog in the machine. This is what it takes to explain only some aspects of why Aaron is disliked. There are many different feelings that are not leveled. Even the Rant Grump subreddit struggles with its intensity. It is not easy to boil down this anti-fandom, especially when their only unifying aspect is their varying degrees of disliking the Game Grumps. While subreddits like these are meant to highlight failures, the Game Grumps are a complete success. Aaron and Dan have created what will possibly be, if it's not already, the longest-lasting consistent gameplay duo. Aaron's transition through becoming a voice actor, animator, to settling on Let's Player gives him room to fulfill other creative outlets like his music. This is a demonstration of his talents and a range and a wonder of what's to come. To that, one thing is certain. As long as the Game Grumps exist, so will the fans and the anti-fans. Only one section of the audience knows entirely that the other exists.